Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, The Art Lover Millennials. Number 1 is painting. Painting introduced by Spaniards during 16th century. Spaniards used paintings as religious propaganda. Types of painting. Watercolor paintings increased. The subject matter of paintings began to include landscapes, Filipino inhabitants, Philippine fashion, and government officials. Number 2, portrait paintings featured the painters themselves, Filipino jewelry, and native furnitures. Landscape paintings feature artists named painted ornately, as well as day-to-day scenes of average Filipinos partaking in their daily task. During World War II, some painters focused their artwork on the effects of war, including battle scenes, destruction, and the suffering of the Filipino people. Example of painting: style expressionism, here are some examples of abstract painting by Antonio Afable. Style is expressionism mixed with modernism, monumental art, and primitivism. Theme: landscape, medium gouache. Description: God save the Queen. The Last Supper. Style: realism. Types of Filipino dance: the Cordillera dance, Muslim dance, tribal, rural, Spanish-style dances. In Cordillera, Banga illustrates the grace and strength of women in the Kalinga tribe. Women performing the Banga balance heavy pots on their heads while dancing to beat of wind chimes. Lumagin, or the takok, is performed to celebrate happy occasions. When lumagin is performed, it is meant to symbolize flying birds and is musically paired to the beat of the gongs. Bindayan. The lumagin, manmanok, ragsaksakan, salisid. Salisid is the dance to show courtship. In the salisid dance, a male and female performer represent a rooster attempting to attract a hen. Salep, direktik, uyaw, uyauy. Tribal dance. Malakas at Maganda is a national folklore dance. It tells the story of the origin of the Filipino people in the island. Kadal Blela, Kadal Tahaw, Binaylan. The Binaylan dance tells the story of the hen, the hen's baby, and a hawk. In this dance, the hawk is said to control tribes' well-being and is killed by hunters after attempting to harm the hen's baby. Bagubo rice cycle, Dugso. Traditional Filipino dances. Tinikling, take two long bamboo sticks rapidly in rhythm, clap sticks for dancers to artistically and daringly try to avoid getting their feet caught between them. Singkel. In this dance, there are 4 bamboo sticks arranged in a tic-tac-toe pattern in which the dancers exploit every position of these clashing sticks. Binasuan. Fabrics. In weaving, abaca fabrics, pineapple, cotton, bark cloth, textiles, clothes, rugs, baskets, and hats. Nipis are all materials in Filipino weaving. Here are examples of weave clothing of the Ifugaos. Weaving using bamboo. Weaving using rattan. The salakot made of nipa huts, nipa leaves, and bamboo and rattan. Sculpturing is another art form in the Philippines. From the transitional carving of Anitus to the Santo to Christ and down to the saints, Filipinos find it rather not difficult as they are already familiar with the ways of the wood. Here are some examples of Filipino sculptures. In pottery, the material is clay mud, produces ceramics like ceramic jars, water vessel, plates, and cups. In pottery, here is an example of the manunggol jar during the early period, pre-Spanish period in the Philippines. Other forms, the tanaga is a type of Filipino poetry. Kutkot is an art technique used between the 15th and 18th centuries. The technique was a combination of European and Oriental style and process mastered by indigenous tribes of Samar Islands. Past notable Filipino artists: Juan Luna, Fernando Amorsolo, Augusto Arbizo, Felix Hidalgo, David Cortez Medalla. Present-day Filipino artists: Anita Magsaysay-Ho, Fred de Asis, Daniel Conquila, Ang Kyukok, Mauro Malang Santos, Santiago Buse, Francisco Veripas Contreras, Noni Lucio Alvarado. Museums: in Manila, Bahay Chinoy, a typical Chinese house in the Philippines. Casa Manila, a typical Spanish colonial house in the Philippines. San Agustin Museum, a church museum with wide collection of Catholic religious items. National Museum of the Philippines, the national museum which showcases Philippine arts. The Malacañang Museum, a museum inside the Presidential Palace Complex. Metropolitan Museum in Manila, a museum of contemporary arts. Museum of Contemporary Arts and Design, a museum of contemporary Filipino arts. The Museum, a museum of contemporary Filipino arts. UST Museum, the oldest existing museum in the Philippines. UST, or the University of Santo Tomas Museum, has permanent display on natural history, specimens, coins, medals, memorabilia, ethnographic materials, and oriental arts objects. Museo Pambata, a museum for children. Pasay, CCP Museo Kalinangang Pilipino and Asian Traditional Musical Instruments, a museum of performing arts. GSIS Museo ng Sining, a museum of Filipino arts. Makati, Ayala Museum, Museum of Filipino Arts. Yotchenko Museum, a museum of Filipino-Chinese arts. Pasig, Lupes Memorial Museum, a museum of Filipino contemporary arts. Quezon City, Ateneo Art Gallery, a museum of Filipino contemporary arts. George B. Vargas Museum Filipiniana Research Center, the only museum in the Philippines with wide range of Philippine arts from 1880 to 1960. Taguig Mind Museum, a science museum. Thank you for viewing. Please don't forget to subscribe the channel.